Hmm. Be right there. 1 second. I haven't streamed like this in a long time. Like full manual. I need to do. Okay. I hope everybody can see and hear me. Uh, Let me know in the chat section if I'm live or not. I haven't streamed like directly to YouTube like this in a little while. So let's see. I see Dave is here. Plato, good to see you. John Allen, Dave Nelson, GB, Jeanette Newman. Okay, John, thanks. Everything looks good. Oh, Lauren, how are you? Okay, I got a bunch of images in and lots of good editing today. I did preview a lot of them and I have some idea what I want to do with each one. So let's go ahead and get started with the first one. Let me see if I can move this window down here and okay, very good. Everything is looking good. So, let me just double check. Hi, Marcia, Jeff Painter. Good to see you. Salt Fun. I'll give this a couple minutes for people to come in. John Fowler's good to see you. Yeah, so someone was asking how long has it been since I did one of these, and it was actually I believe it was November of last year, so it's been a year. Um, something like that. It's been almost a year, if not a full year, since I've done a live video editing stream. And you know, people have asked me to come back to doing these for a long time. And unless I set it up, you know, when I'm thinking about it, I just never get around to it. But uh, I always love doing these editing streams, and I might be a little bit rusty, so bear with me if I you know, if I fumble a little bit here. But let's go ahead and pull up the first one. And really, the main thing that's changed, well, I guess hasn't changed. I used Photolab 5 last year. I'll be using Photolab 6 now. And this is my primary photo editor. And I do have my affiliate link down below that you can download a free trial if you want to do exactly what I did here. But it is my primary editor now, and I'm starting to transition to be able to do probably 90% of my work, my paid work with Photolab 6. There's still things I need to do in Photoshop, and you know the Adobe products are great, but you know I think for editing photos individually, you know the workflow is the results that you get are superior to what I can do in Lightroom. And I'm very specific when I said that, what I can do in Lightroom. I'm sure there's people that can do lots of stuff in Lightroom and Photoshop, but for me, Photolab 6 has really taken my editing to another level. Small as that might be, it's just a small increment, but it makes all the difference. But the first image we have here is from Lauren, and he just wanted to do a critique on this one. So basically, this is like one of these kind of fun shots, right? Where you go to an event. This looks like a car show. And, you know, you're just taking pictures of all the different cars. And I've been to a couple of car shows and I get a little overwhelmed because there's so many cars and so many people. It's hard to uh, make a composition of a photo in a way that, you know, you would if you were doing like a normal photo walk or taking pictures of subjects. in a scenario like this, in an event where it's very busy, um, I get flustered and very confused about, taking photos. So this is really an interesting photo. It looks like the car is parked. They may be moving, but this guy doesn't look like he's driving because he's just sitting so far back from the wheel. And he's got some kind of rain stick here. But for me, what I see in this photo here is there's lots of interesting elements, right? We have a couple of people here, this guy, these guys in the car, and this guy over here. And then, of course, the cars themselves are very interesting. And the trick is, if they're not moving, what kind of composition could I make here? It looks like maybe this one might be moving. There's a little bit of motion blur here. So this was like a quick snap, it looks like. I'm not going to do a full-on edit, but what I like here is actually I would isolate just right in here because I don't like this guy not looking at the camera. I like these two guys sitting on this fence, but and it doesn't bother me too much that this guy's cut off a little bit. But compositionally, there's some elements here I really like. Like there's definitely some depth here, right? We have this foreground, midground, and we have the background here. And then we have interesting people. And for me, what I would do is probably crop in something like this. Maybe a little bit tighter. And this is where I would probably make my image final. And compositionally, because what I didn't like before was that the street was in the the gray street in the bottom. Let me zoom out. But you see the road and everything down below. To me, it doesn't add anything to the picture. So I'm just going to crop all of that out and maybe crop in a little closer, like so. And then straighten it. And now I think this image still maintains, most of the elements that I thought were interesting. You have interesting people, you have interesting cars, and now the photo has a little more depth, right? And this is how I would compose it. I could touch up and I would get rid of this orange pole here. That's a little distracting. And I know I cut a lot of things out. But if you look at these two images side by side, I don't feel like I lost anything by doing a much tighter crop. And I've sort of isolated the most interesting things in the photo for me, because these people are just too far back to do anything with them. Although I really like these two guys sitting over here. If I had to do another crop, it would, I would just crop over here, maybe. Another option might be just to include these guys, like so. And we've still maintained a more environmental scene where we can see all the people in the shot. We can see the cars, and we still have that depth to kind of give this photo some dimension. So, but yeah, event photos, these are tough to do though, and get something that would compositionally be interesting. But these kind of photos are not usually, you're not trying to go for some kind of fine art type photography or anything like that, right? But okay, thanks for sending that in. And let me see. Let me pop out this chat section so I can see it a little easier. Yeah, I still maintain the story. Oh, Gigafish is here and Marsha's here. My goodness, they're coming out of the woodworks. I know Marsha comes pretty regular, but I haven't seen you lately on my Sunday streams. And Gigafish, it's been months. Um, Debating about getting Affinity 2, not sure. I have no idea about Affinity 2. I know Affinity 1 it's I don't think it's a destructive workflow, but I hardly use it. But let's go to the next photo here. Okay, so we have one here from Phil, and the title is like dyeing the Chicago River. So I guess this river is not normally green, right? They added some kind of green, and that was the intent or the purpose of this image, was to capture the green river. So the question is, how do I make this more interesting compositionally, uh, without losing, the purpose of the image? Because typically when I see a cityscape like this, other than the green, there's not a lot of color here. So I would probably go black and white, but that would defeat the purpose of this image. Um, so I have to think of something else I need to do. And what I thought about was making this more of a diagonal and framing the river so it's more central, because right now the river is off center and to the side, and it's just part of the landscape, and it just looks kind of weird to me, the way it's composed now. And it looks like you were shooting through some glass, because I see some reflections here, right in here. It's very, very subtle. I'm assuming these are reflections and not spots on your lens. If you were shooting at a very high aperture, maybe, but I probably, and the image is a little bit soft, so it looks like you were shooting through some glass. So what I would do, Dave says, put the river on fire. What I thought about is rotating the scene. Let me just apply the optical corrections and some deep prime, just some very basic things that Photolab does well. And then let's start with an angle. And what I want to do is I want to try and put the corners of the river into the corners of the frame. So let me give it a little bit more. I want almost a 45-degree angle. That might be too much, but let's see. Let me crop this square and see if that gets me there. That's a little bit too much. Let's try 40 degrees. Yeah, I think that works. And I'm trying to be careful to include this the edge of the wall here around the river, and then center here and here. And now I think that's a little bit more dynamic, right? So now we have this bridge and this bridge sort of framing the river. Oh, I left a little piece up here. Let me fix that. I'll have to come in a little bit. Yeah, let's go with that. I cut off the wall. I want to keep that wall. I have to come in this way. Okay. Because I like this curve right here. And then from here I just need to give it a little bit of contrast, because the contrast looks like it was pulled back a little bit because you're shooting through some glass. Clear view usually works pretty well for that. And then let me see if I can just add a gradient here and bring up the shadows and warm it up a tiny bit so it's a little more even with the other side. because I don't want to distract from the river itself. And then let's see if we can punch up the colors just a little bit more. This filter here, this could use a little bit more clarity. Maybe not that much. A little bit warmer. Okay, close enough. And then I'm going to fix one little spot here. Make my brush a little smaller. There. And then I'm just going to warm up the image just using a filter here. Oops, come on, click. There we go. Maybe pull the highlights in a tiny bit. Like so. And bring it up a little bit. About a third. Yeah, about a quarter stop. Okay. So I think that's a little more interesting image. So let's compare these side by side real quick. And you can see this whole scene is interesting. And like I said, a scene like this, I would normally go full on black and white. But because this river's green, and that's the purpose or intent of this image, I made the river to be a much larger percentage. It's probably 2/3 percentage right now. It's like 60 to 70% of the image now, instead of over here it's like maybe 25 to 30% of the image. So I've kind of reversed the ratio of the river in the scene as well. And if we just look at that full screen, I think that looks pretty good. I like the framing. I like that we kept the green river. So that is the subject of the image and not the cityscape, but now it's the subject is the river being green. And you can kind of see still all of the people and all of the finer, details and information about the city if you're interested in that. So there's lots of places to look around. What if I hit D here? So there's the, there's the before, there's the after. Okay, but nice image. Okay. Let's go to this next one. And this one, when I downloaded it, it would not open up in DXO because it's not this one camera it doesn't support, unfortunately. So I converted it to a TIFF file. So we're just going to work with the TIFF file in DXO. Let's see, let's try. Let me just apply. I don't think any of that's going to work, but let me recompose this a little bit. I want a little more room in front of the cat. So it looks like he's going into the frame. Maybe a slight tilt this way. I don't know, maybe a little bit more of the fence. Yeah, that works. So now the cat's kind of got a little direction to go. He's not front and center. And I like the yellow eyes, so I'm going to let's bring a little contrast back in. Maybe not that much, just a little bit here. A little bit of contrast here. And then let's bring out the eyes of the cat. So I'm just going to, in this case, let me just use a control point. Not that big. Just come in right here. And I'm going to adjust it so it just affects the cat's eye. Like so. Okay, that's the masking layer there. And I'll just increase the saturation, vibrancy, and maybe just light it up just a little bit. Maybe a little bit more on the shadow side. And add some, just a little clarity and contrast. Because I always like the eyes to kind of stand out, you know, on any kind of portrait in general. But you got to do it in a way so you don't make it look, you know, weird. And then we'll just add the same thing over here. About like that. Let me see if I can isolate that yellow a little bit more. Okay. Okay, that looks good. So maybe I can do a little bit more. Maybe just a tiny bit more saturation. All right. So I can see the changes in Photolab 6. I can see the changes of just that one filter, which works. Okay. We'll stick with that. And then I want to add a little more dynamic to the scene. Meaning in terms of brightness, right? Because the image, other than the cat itself, the image is pretty flat. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to add another control point here. And let me adjust the mask so it's yeah, there we go. And I'm just going to brighten it up on this side. Just like so. And you can see how I can brighten this without really affecting the cat itself. But I want to add just a little bit of light on this side. Right there. Maybe, let me see if I can shift the hue a little bit. Yeah, that looks good. And I'm going to add one on this side. And let me just check the masking. Minimize that. And we're going to pull this down. Let me expand this out a little bit. Okay, I think that looks good. And then maybe we'll make this a little darker too. One more thing. Let me just pull in here. Let me check the mask. It's a bit too much. And right about there. So what I want to do is just darken this fence a little bit. Because I want all the attention to be on the cat. Okay. I think that looks pretty good. Let's do a before and after. So there's the before and after, just side by side. But let's look at it full screen. And this is the edit. And then if I click on this, this is the before. And that's the after. I feel like I could add a little more contrast though. Maybe. Let me just pull the blacks in a little bit and push the shadows. Yeah, that's better. Just to give the scene a little more contrast, right? I think that looks pretty good. So there's the edit. That's the before. And that's the after. So a little bit of a crop, more color and contrast, and adjust the luminance a little bit. And I think that looks... Do I like to oversaturate the eyes for glowing eyes sometimes? Not really. I try to avoid that. I mean, if I'm trying to do something creative, you know, maybe. But generally speaking, I try to make the difference in the eyes very subtle. Hopefully I didn't overdo it here. I think this looks pretty good. But yeah, I think now the scene has a little bit more dynamics to it. If anything, I might affect... Let me do one more thing now that I see it. I want to add just a little bit of warming on this side a little bit. So I might be able to do that with the control point already made over here. Let me expand that a little bit. Let me look at the mask. I'm going to expand this and yeah, just like that. Let me see if I can... Yeah, it's not working. I was thinking maybe I could just add a little bit of make it a little bit warmer on the left side here, but that's okay. All right, I cannot make the mask as an ellipse or oval. Circle is the only option, and then you control how much it affects by luminance or color, which they call chroma. As you can see. So I'll do a few more using the control points. I really like the control points, but it's not like a gradient tool like they have in Lightroom and Photoshop where you can make ovals and things like that. The closest thing they have is this, you know, normal is you know, like this we see in Lightroom. But actually that would work here. I could add the warming here, maybe. No, I can't do it. All right. I would just have to brush it in. But okay, let's go to the next one. All right, here's one from John Follows. What's this? This is a the Cobbler's beer, wine, coffee. Okay, cool. Little shop. Um, and it's a tough shot because I can see you're trying not to get this car in the scene and this car. You're trying to keep those out, and that's why we got this angle. But this angle is really, really tough. Uh, it's hard to see the full front of the building like this. But and this screams to me either like a vintage color type scenario or just go full on black and white. But let me just apply a basic optical corrections, and I feel like we need to straighten this a tiny bit, like so. Just a couple of degrees. And then I'm going to crop out that door on the left. And let's just go up to here. All right, let's just crop in here. I'm going to take a quick look at the black and white. It's a tough call. I like the colors, but I'd have to go full on vintage look in color. I think I'll go black and white. And let me add a little, well, let's do a little bit here. I mean, there's no fog or anything here, but the clear view tends to just give it a little more crunch. It's basically contrast, right? I'm going to give it a little more grit here. A little bit in here. And these sliders here are not too different than like doing a structure. You see the structure slider in a lot of different apps. And again, all these different variables, whether they call it structure or sharpness or contrast, it's all the same thing. You're just adjusting contrast at different levels or at a different pixel radius. That's all. And let's make it really crunchy here. Okay. All right, we're getting there. Now I'm going to adjust the perspective a little bit so it looks like we're facing a little bit more straight on. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide, let's see, let's try left. Okay. Now, what about if I go right? Yeah, that's... That way we feel like we're looking a little bit more straight on. I don't want to do it too much. So I'm going to have to re-crop this a little bit. Maybe about like so. Let's just not worry about the aspect ratio. Okay. Maybe not quite that much. Just a little bit. Okay. And tiny bit of vignette. A little bit less round. It's very, very subtle. And then let me work with the channel mixer a bit. I want to bring this. This was green, if I remember correctly. See if I can brighten that up. Okay. What color was that? Why am I? Yeah. Can I do it this way? All right, I think that's good. And let me just add a little bit of sharpness. Where is that? That's in here, right? Okay, too much. Back that off. All right. So let's look at that. Give that a second to render. All right, that looks pretty good. I probably have to export it to see the full render. And let's see. There's the before. And there's the after. Let's do it in here. So as you can see, I just cropped out this car and this door and just tried to get the front of the building. Then I did a slight horizontal shift on the aspect ratio. So it feels like we're facing the building a little bit more straight on instead of at such a sharp angle. And it just went with black and white, right? And made it a little bit gritty. But I think that looks pretty good. Okay. Lauren wants sepia. I can do that. I can do that right here. Let's do this. Back it off. That looks pretty good. All right. Let's see what else we got. Okay, we have a bird here. And let's see what we're at. We're at ISO 4000 at 5.6, 1/800th, 420. Oh, this is the 300 millimeter. Must have the teleconverter. Yep. Nice. All right, this is where Photolab really shines because I've edited a lot of my own bird photos, and believe it or not, this image is very, very clean. Despite when we punch in, it looks like we lost a lot of detail, but you'll be surprised what this can pull out. So let me just apply the optical corrections and deep prime. And then, of course, we need to crop in. And I'll just do a square crop. Well, let's see. Maybe not. Let's stick with 4:3. And just put rule of thirds, put that right on the bird's eye, give or take. All right, that's pretty good. And then from here, what I'm going to do is, the bird is in the shade, and this is really bright. It's very distracting. So I need to balance that a little bit. So I'm going to use the selection tool here. Just start here. Get a smaller brush. Okay. And then we'll come in. Let's see how we did. Not bad. Let me need to fill in a little bit more here. A little bit in here. Okay, good. A little bit here and here. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to brighten up the bird a little bit. And then add a little bit of contrast and clarity. And then punch up the color. It's a little bit of a green haze overall, but that's all right. Let's see. Okay, that's looking good. And then this over here is too bright, so I'm going to try and see if I can darken this some. Maybe just do a gradient. And then get it off of the bird. Oh, too much. Hold on. Slightly smaller brush and less feathering. I might be doing this the wrong way. Yeah, this is not the right way to do it. Let me do it this way. See if I can just bring it down. All right, good enough. And let's just turn Turn the dead pixels off. I'm going to bump up the noise model to try and pull out just a little more detail. That might be too much. I'm looking at the little window here. And see if I can fix the white balance. There we go. Perfect. Okay, I think I'm done. All right, so what I have to do for you guys to see the actual export original, yeah, it's not resize. Because what we're seeing here is sort of a preview. It's not the full, it's not exactly what it's going to look like when you export it. So let's see. I think this is the, yeah, this is the exported image. So let me make a quick copy. And reset it. We'll export this. So here's the edited image, and if I punch in, you can see that compared to the original, there's a lot more detail, there's no noise, etc. It just comes out really amazing. And this is not something I've ever been able to do before I got Photolab. And it'll be clear when I compare it against the original image here. If I do this, look at the difference in these two. You know, you look at how much detail we were able to pull out using the DXO Photolab. It's pretty amazing. But basically what I did is I brightened up the bird. DXO did all of the work on pulling out the detail, and then I just darkened the lighting in the background just so it's not so strong. And if I had to do anything else, I might warm up the image just a little bit more, because I still see a little bit of a green or coolish tint in here that I'm not crazy about, but I think that looks pretty good. But the trick to doing, I think, these kinds of edits when you have a singular subject like this is to just raise the level of the exposure just a tiny bit on the subject itself so it stands out a little bit more from the rest of the image. Particularly this one, because it's in the shade against a very bright background. It just kind of gets lost in here, whereas I think over here it looks a lot better. So that, I think that came out really nice. Okay, let's see, where were we? Let's go to Hugh Perry. Wow, it's been a while. I remember he used to always submit things. So I have a beautiful landscape here. I think what I'll do here is I'm gonna do, I need to crop this in. It's just too much landscape. I don't get any sense of direction. You know, your eyes aren't really led anywhere. So I'm gonna kind of force the perspective a little bit. And let's see. Let's do a vertical. And there's a line right here that I can use. So I'm going to use this line to kind of draw your eye into the scene and then carry you out to the back. And then I need to correct the horizon a tiny bit maybe. Come in. Well, first I got to apply the optical corrections. Okay. Now let's crop in. like I was thinking. Straighten the horizon just at half a degree. Okay. And then I'll use this line, I guess right there. Cross here, we cross. Okay, so it'd be nice if I could cross 1/3. That's pretty close. What I'm looking at is, you see this 1/3 line right here, where this hill kind of comes into the scene. I wanted to kind of get this 1/3 line down here to go to this corner. Then I would get a nice zigzag pattern. But this close as we're going to get, unless I do some perspective corrections, but I don't want to do that. Let's do some micro contrast. Yeah. And a little bit of fine contrast there, and then overall, I don't think I need much there. Okay. If I click on this, that helps a tiny bit, maybe a little bit less. Just a tiny bit of clear view. So I really want to try and bring out the drama of these clouds. I'm also noticing it's a little bit bluer over here than down here. Down here is a little bit browner. And then we have some greens, really interesting colors. Maybe, yeah, what if I do this? No, that's not helping much. Let me see what happens if I set the white balance in here. Ah, that looks gross. How about down in here? Or here? Or down here? Nah, let's not. Let's not do that. Let's do as shot. Try cloudy. Trying to decide. Let me just leave it for now. Let's just let's saturate the colors a tiny bit, because it is different down here than up here. That's what's throwing me off. Maybe a split tone. So I'll make the shadows a bit warmer, highlights a bit cooler. Let me try. There we go. I'm about to go black and white because I can't get the colors the way I like. Let me just see. No, I like the subtle changes in the color. So what I'm going to do is just let's do a control point right in here. Let me mask it. Back this off a little bit. Okay. So I'm going to give it a little bit more contrast in here. I want this area to be really swirly and punchy. What can I do with color? Can I cool this area off just a tiny bit? Okay, that looks good. Sorry, I'm not I'm not thinking out loud. I'm really trying to increase the dynamic range of this shot. Uh so I'm debating if this corner down here deserves any light. Maybe this weird brown color is throwing me off. Let me turn this down a bit. Let's see if I can just brush in. A little bit of warmth in here. I think that works. I think I'll end it here. How's this look? So if we do a before and after, yeah, okay. It's a little bit too crispy. Let me go back to this brush. This brush is too crispy, so and a little less contrast. Okay. All right, I'm going to end it there. So there's the before and after. So again, this is not too dissimilar from the very first image that Lauren sent in of the cars and the people. I'm just trying to force the perspective to give the image more depth, right? So we have, in this image, we have the foreground, midground, background, but it's just kind of unbalanced. So what I tried to do here is force it, and I tried to create kind of a zigzag pattern here, then back down here like this, right? By the way I cropped it. And then everything else is kind of to taste, you know, just adding more contrast and drama into the skies or the clouds and fog to kind of give it that, just to make it a little more interesting, I think. So if we look at it full screen, I think that came up pretty nice. And if let's see, where's the before and after? Here's the before. So there's the before. So it's a really nice image, but it's a little bit flat, and I don't think the depth of the image really comes through because it's too wide. So forcing a vertical perspective, I think, forces that depth, gives that image sort of more of a 3D look. And then adding drama to the sky, it almost looks like a storm more than fog now. So maybe that's not the feeling or mood that you wanted to get from this image, but that's just kind of what I saw, and this is the mood that I wanted to give the image, or the feeling that I wanted to give it. But you could certainly go a lot softer and get a more surreal or a more calm image. But this image here is a little bit more dramatic, right? But okay, let's do the next one. Okay, so Wow, this is another great image. Basically, let me see what's in here. All we have to do is get rid of some of the distracting elements. So let me see. We have, looks like this is a parking lot or something back here. And there's a tree here. Okay, so let me just apply some optical corrections, and I'm going to try and fix this image a little bit. I like this orange, but this is blown out a little bit. There we go. That helps. And if we can punch that color up a little bit. Okay, and let me bring in, I want to bring in the trunk of this tree a little bit that was there. So let me just brush in here and see what happens. A little bigger brush. And I have my flow set pretty low because I just want to brush it in gradually. A little bit more here. Okay. That might be enough. And then maybe I have to push the shadows a bit. Ooh, too much. All right. And then let's get rid of some distracting elements here. How about this sign? Yeah, let's get rid of this sign. Let's pick an area over here. Come on, get rid of that. There we go. I just noticed it was blurry down here, so I had to move this correction point. Okay. Did I get rid of everything? Yeah. All right, now let's turn that off. Let me add this light here. Need a bigger brush. I'm going to create a line going there. Okay. I don't know if that's helping or... No, that's not good. Let me get rid of that. Okay. Then and increase the color. Hopefully these leaves are a little bit orange. If not, I'll just make it a little warmer. Maybe not that much. All right, good. Now there's a couple of ways to, a couple of things I'm thinking of, right? You know, I could stop here, but and I have two options. Is either go in tighter, right? You know, and do something like this. And I think this would be okay, but we kind of lose that feeling of isolation because that's the feeling I get from this image is that it's a very isolated phone booth and it's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. At least that's the impression I'm trying to give. I need to fix one more spot here. It's a couple. I just want to, I don't want any of this distractions down in here. Okay, good. Let me fix, I think it was this brush. Yeah. I want to, just want to touch. I'm getting a little bit of a halo from this tree, so I'm trying to get rid of that. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to export this out into Photoshop. And actually, before I do that, what I should have done is got rid of this crop. Let me... let me export it like this because I want to make this look more isolated. Overwrite. And that should go into Photoshop soon. Is that going or not? Yeah, there we go. All right, let me add a layer. And I'm just going to create a little bit bigger working space, more negative space. Okay. And fill is black. Stroke. Okay, that's fine. I gotta make the canvas size bigger. 10,000 by 10,000. Okay. That looks good. And then let's just brush out and make this go in nice and gradual. I think that'll do. Flatten that. And okay, let me brighten this up just a tiny bit. And a little bit more color. Okay, and then just add a white frame. I think this will look good. Oh, let's try this one. All right, there's, well, that's not the before and after. Let's export this so you can see the before and after. And it's going to export or not. There it is. This is the, and there's, okay. So let's reset this one. All right, so there's my final edit. I just wanted to make it feel more isolated, rather than crop in and see too much. I think this makes the image a little bit more dynamic to add more negative space. And if you compare this to the original, I believe that's the original. There's the original here on the right, which is kind of interesting, and I think I got the feeling that you wanted to get from the original image. I forget who sent this in. Eric? Hopefully you like this, Eric, this edit of it. I think this looks better, adding a lot more negative space. Now there might be an argument made to move the telephone booth down here, so there's more negative space up here. And I could even composite some beautiful, like Milky Way galaxy in the background. Would be really cool, you know, if you really want to get creative. But just as a single image and just working with what I have, I think this works. And then of course, you know, leading the eye into the frame or into the subject right there works. All right, let's see what else we got. Oh, thank you, Dave. So we got one here from Bob O'Neill. Another beautiful foggy scene. Let me get a little water. Wow, I've been at this for an hour. Sorry about that. I was trying to do these fast, but um okay, so we have this boat and some fog. What I'll do here is this light back here is a little distracting to me, so I'm going to try and fix some of that. But I like everything else. So either I fix that or crop it out. Well, let me apply the basic DXO optical corrections and stuff. And let's see what we can do with a crop window. Maybe, yeah, right about there. And okay, let's try that. Uh, let's fix the white balance because these tungsten lights, I mean, it's kind of natural and it's, oops, wrong button. This one. B. It's a little bit too cool. I'm going to just warm it back up. This is the original. This was already a 3589. This brings it down to 28. I guess that's all right. Just a hair warmer. Okay, and I'm going to get rid of this one distracting light left here. Let's do a clone. Nah, good enough. Doesn't look quite right. What about this side? Yeah, that works. All right. Um, I'm going to bring this boat out a little bit. See if I can pick it out this way. Can I get it? Almost. I want to make sure I get the edge of this boat in there. Okay, I got it. A little bit down in here. Okay. Now, I want to brighten it a little bit. There's some blue inside there. Let's do it with vibrance. And see if I can brighten that up a tiny bit. It's a little bit too strong. Okay. Now, the rest of this scene. Oops, wrong way. See if I can make this a little bit more misty. Okay. Maybe a little vignette. And I don't know. This blue light. And then the orange light. Okay. Now maybe I can. All right, let me go back to my boat. Sorry, I'm concentrating here, I think. All right, I need to do one more thing. Almost done. Let's just use a regular brush, a little bit smaller. Sort of get that reflection look. Get that out of the way. And also brighten that up a little bit. There we go. Okay. I think that's where I'll stop. So let me export this and reset this. Export this. So there is the after. It looks pretty good. Wait, sorry. Let's do it this way. So there's the after image. And that's before. So just a slight crop, got rid of this one light, and then illuminated the boat a little bit. So I also brightened this spot here to kind of give it a reason to be a little bit brighter. And there's a little bit of noise in this image up in here, but that should have been fixed by the export. So I think as is fine. I just had to shift the white balance a little bit. And then, so let's see how the exported image looks. Yeah, so all the noise has been cleaned up in here. So that's the final image. Maybe add a frame to it, but I think it looks good like this. Okay. Let's go to the next one. We have some kangaroos here. Okay. Again, this is going to be similar to the bird. I need to be able to separate the subject from the background. And it looks like, yeah, misfocused just a tiny bit too. That's a little painful. Um, but let's go ahead and just, let's apply a basic preset, some optical corrections basically. And let's crop in. I'm going to do a vertical crop on this too, like right there. I'm not sure how I'm going to separate these because this thing is really close. Um, I can try a control point, but I don't think there's enough separation here. Let me see what the mask looks like. All right, let's see if I can brighten them up a little bit. And give them a little more color. That's reasonable. Let me bring this back down. There. A little vignette. What can I do with the colors? Maybe grab a color in here. And shift the colors a little bit. Okay. I don't know that I can do much more. I mean, this tree behind them is very interesting too, but and let me just darken this down in here. Warm it up a little or cool, yeah. No, 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 no. Come down. Come down and fade in a little bit more. Okay. And let's pull the highlights in just a tiny bit. Slight pull, slight clear view, slight smart lighting. And Work on the vignette just a little bit more. Maybe if I blur it. Where's the blur vignette? Nah. Creative vignetting. No. I'm gonna, no. That looks like crap. All right, I think that's the best I can do here. Let me export it. And just get an idea of the before and after. So there's before, and there's the after. So again, I just did the same basic idea of just brightening the subjects a little bit versus the background. And then isolated the subject into the scene so they fill the frame a little more. Let's see how that looks. It's okay. Where's yeah. But the thing is, the focus was missed. It's focused on the trees back here rather than the kangaroos. But if you back off a little bit, maybe I shouldn't crop in so much. Then you won't be able to tell it's blurry. But okay, I think that looks better than it was. Right, there's the before and after, side by side. All right. Let's go ahead and look at the next one. Okay. Oh, Paul, you're here. Yeah, it did miss focus, didn't it? Yeah, it's a pretty cool shot. I mean, just you know, it just misfocused. That bites. All right, so we have this one here. I think this is yeah, this is a JPEG image, so it's going to be a little rough trying to fix this one, but we'll see what we can do. Let me just do the normal optical corrections. Probably nothing because it's a JPEG, right? And I don't know. I'm going to try the smart lighting. I'm going to pick her face here and see how far I can get with that. Okay. Not bad. I'll go with that for now. What we need to do, we need less contrast. Let's try and push the shadows. Let's pull the colors back a little bit. Ooh, black and white would be nice, but I like the color. Let's see, black and white. Black and white would work, but let's just go with a little bit of a muted color look. We're gonna have to fix the reds a little bit. So, see, I should be able to pick her out pretty easy here. Oh, come on. There. Click the wrong button. All right. All right, let's see how we did. A little bit more in here. A bit more there. All right, good enough. That's what I'm going to do. Just like everything else I've been doing, just brighten the subject a tiny bit. Let's reduce the contrast. Slight pull on the highlights. And then, okay. Let's do the same thing on the car. So I need a bigger brush. Ooh, I need to get rid of that license plate. That bright yellow is not working for me. Okay, did you select this or not? Oh, hold on. I need a new brush. My bad, sorry. Do this quicker. Okay. Did I get the car? Mostly. So let's brighten up the car, pull the highlights a tiny bit, push the shadows and the blacks. Let's get rid of this yellow bumper. Okay. Oh, come on. A little less feathering. Wrong way. This way. There we go. All right, let's see how this looks. All right, so far so good. All right, let's fix the rest of the image now because I kind of messed it up a little bit. This ground. Okay. Let's pull the color back a little more. And the greens are a little bit off. Come on, green. What color is this? What color is this? This must be some kind of brick. No, it's got yellow in it. Let me see what happens. If I shift these more red. This is not working. Let's just brush it out. Let me... Okay. Good. Then these a little bit more dramatic. Maybe a little less than that. Oh, come on. This one. Now, she needs a little more color. Let's do vibrance. And a little bit brighter shadow. Okay. I think I'm almost there. Let's pull this up. And let's add a warming filter. Crank that up a tiny bit. I'm thinking I wonder if I can fix this jacket. I'm almost there, and then we'll wrap it up. Let's pull these shadows in more. Okay. So there's before, there's after. The sky lost a little bit of color in my version. But I think I'm going to cheat a little bit here and just change the sky. Okay, Bob, we'll see you later. Yeah, this is a good sky. Let's get rid of this and this. All right, and then this could definitely use a frame. This one here. A little bit tighter crop. No, right there. All right. So that's my final edit there. Final answer. I think that looks pretty good. I mean, I cheated a little bit with the sky because the sky that was there, I lost the color in it when I was working the rest of the image. But that's mainly because it's a JPEG, so it's hard to push and pull everywhere at the same time. If I spent like another 15-20 minutes on it, I could probably get the color back in the sky, but um, I think that works. You guys don't like my sky that I picked? It's okay, but you get the idea. We can go back to the original sky here. I still like the framing I did though. This frame here. So there you go. And then, so this is the before, and that's the after. So there was a couple of directions to go right. Either go full on silhouette, black and white maybe, or try and recover and see everything. And I think this was more the intent of the image, right? Because, you know, the title was like self-portrait. So why would you do a self-portrait in silhouette? So I went the other direction and tried to recover what I can. And if this were a raw image, it'd have been easy to recover a lot of these shadows and highlights. I would have got a lot more detail. But I think that looks really good. So, all right, let's go to the last part. And Jeanette says, I was going back and forth on this one. Go for full silhouette or try to get back the details in person. I'm curious to see what you would do. Yeah. So you and I had the same kind of thought process, right? Like, because it's so underexposed that you could just as easily go silhouette. But the sky itself is not, I don't know. The composition doesn't lend itself for silhouette, I think. I think compositionally it's much better to try to recover the shadows and stuff. The best way to handle this kind of shot really is to bracket it and then blend them back together like in Photoshop or something. But okay, let's look at what you guys did to my picture. Or Lauren says go with a cinema look. I'm not sure what that would be. I still like my sky. I like the sky image better, but let's go to, yeah, Dave, I'm with you on that, Dave. Or yeah, Randy of course says use a flash, right? Duh. That would be even better, right? Have a nice lighting setup. You would need at least you would need about 3 flashes, and then you could get a really nice portrait here. So you would have a light in the front, your key light. You would have a light coming onto the car for to illuminate the back and the side. So I would have the light facing the car, but this would be secondary. And then I would have a third light kind of over the top of everything to create a nice rim lighting. So you could do this with 3 lights, maybe 4 if you want to get really fancy. Because you could create like a rim light along the right side too, if you had a fourth light, and then you know. But now you're talking full on. You need a crew and all of that. Okay, let's see what you guys did here. So we have, let's look at the original image. I put it in here somewhere. Oh, here's the original. Okay, so here's the original image. This is we call this Daisy May, I think is the name of the truck. And uh it's just sitting on the side of this old house, and I don't know. And it's in a fairly nice neighborhood, and it's just like this very old beat up rundown house and truck are sitting in the middle of this really nice neighborhood. But anyhow, let's see what you guys did. So Marcel, let's see, Marcel. Marcel always works with the light, right? He's always doing some kind of light painting, but a heavy vignette, and I like he did the same thing I did here. He kind of cloned out the housing that was over here. The only thing I would have done is I would have got rid of the light here or did something with it differently. Um, this is the only part that everything else, I really like the editing everywhere else. I like the light on top of the bush and the truck, but this light here just doesn't look natural with the rest of the scene. But this is a nice edit. Oh, Marcel sent another one. I like this one a lot better. A nice, this almost looks like a moonlit scene, right? Um, I like this a lot. This is great. Plus the extra grain added in. Why not, right? I think that looks good because, if you were to take this shot at night in a single shot, you would get a grainy image, whether it's digital or film. But this has a very filmic moonlight kind of look to it. I like that. And let's see, this is from Tony, went full on sepia. And this is perfect, except I think if you could have brushed this house out over here, like Marcel did, this would have been perfect. It would have been a perfect sepia image. But yeah, nice edit. A little bit editing to the tones too, I see. Pulled in the highlights up in here. Yeah, it looks good. I like the crop though. It's really almost a perfect crop. And here's one from Serge. Nice. Very nice. Serge has really been, I don't know why, but I recognize how much Serge has improved over the last few years. From his very first images that I've seen to what he's doing now. It's a huge difference. So this is an awesome edit. I like this. Very strong reds and greens, right? So you have the complementary colors, so to speak. Like again, just brush this out with a clone brush or something, and this would be perfect. This is just the only distracting element is that other house there. And then Jeanette, yeah, see? Jeanette, wow, that's interesting. You cut out half the truck. I have to look at the original. I guess you didn't like all the power lines and everything that were in the image. So you just cropped everything out completely. But again, I like the very strong saturated colors, especially the reds. I would have pulled it back slightly on the browns, but this looks really good. Oh, my Amazon delivery's here. Okay. And let's see. Oh my God, Dave, you always make me laugh. So what is this, like the day after the rapture when everybody else has gone to heaven and the rest of us here are left on earth? Oh my God, you're crazy. Dave always makes me laugh though. When I saw this when I downloaded, I was laughing so hard. I was like, "Oh my God. This is great though." All right. And I guess last, did I get them all? Oh, here's one. Jared. Jared has one. Nice tight crop. I like it. And a good clean edit, you know? Nothing to complain about here. And I'll have to tell you what I got on from Amazon. Did I get everybody's? I don't think I skipped any. John follows. Oh, John's. I didn't see John's. Here we go. So good clean edit. Pulled in the skies and a little bit of saturation and contrast. Looks good. Didn't do any cropping though, it looks like. Just went with a full on. But yeah, it looks good. Nice clean edit. And I saw that. I saw that. Okay, let me show you this was my edit. You know, I went with muted greens and just focused on the one red, then added dust, scratches, and you know, just a little bit of old paper. Hold on. Hello? Yeah. Oh, I'm busy right now. All right. All right. I'll be right there. Oh my God, my mom brought me soup. I tell you, I haven't gotten soup from her like in a year. Probably not since I last did a photo editing stream. It's like she knows I'm doing photo editing or something. And she has to interrupt my stream with some soup. Um, but okay, let me get the soup. I want to come back. I want to talk about something. Okay, I'm back. But I got dinner now. Um, yeah, back in the groove again, right, John? Soft Fun says you're black and white. Oh, did you upload something? Let me check the let me check what's oh, there's wow. There's been like three more images came in since I download well, let's see. Hue. Oh, you guys can't see that. Hold on. Oh, nice. Yeah, so this is really nice. Oops, wrong button. Yeah, that looks good. That's an awesome black and white. Nice crop. It sucks that this pole is so close to the house. It'd have been nice. Just draw a line down here and brush that out. But what else are you gonna do, right? But I like it. It's a very nice, crispy black and white. I like the framing. Went with sort of a, you know, make it look like an old picture. I assume there's some textures and stuff going on too, but that looks great. That looks great, Soft Fun. Oh yeah, all the flame pics. That would be awesome. Because, you know, I delete everything after I'm done with the stream. I mean, maybe not right away, but I didn't even think to save all the edits you guys do for me. Because there's a lot of good ones in here. So Darko and John Allen has two here. And if you guys put in a chat section, if you're still here, I can do these now, or I can just do them next week, whatever you guys want to do. Yeah, I wish we could have saved all your photos, Dave. Those are hilarious. But let me tell you the I think I'll call it here. Oh, do one, please. Okay, John, I'll do one. Um, let me just download it. Give it a second. It'll download. Another one here. I'll do these real quick since you're here. And Darko. I don't know if Darko's still here. Maybe I'll save this for next time. Okay. Now how do I get to my screen? Oh, it's going to download all these optics modules. Jeez. All right. We'll give that a minute. I'll tell you guys the so it's getting really cold here, right? And I haven't had to turn the heat on yet because I don't turn the heat on until it starts to get like at freezing, like at about, 32, 31 degrees. And then I might turn the heat on at night just so I can make sure the pipes don't freeze. But my house itself, I keep really cold. Like it's outside of this office here because I use space heaters wherever I am. Outside this office here, my house is like 52 degrees right now. And but when I sit out there in the living room, I have a little space heater right next to me where I sit. And Ellie and she is fighting me for the space heater. Like she sits down and plants herself, and I'm trying to push her, and she keeps pushing her way back. So I bought her a heating pad for her bed because she has her bed just on the chair next to the sofa where I sit. So I bought her a heating pad so she can sit over there, and I can sit on the sofa and watch TV and stretch out if I want. Because the way it is now, it's like she so that's what I'm waiting for from Amazon is heating pads and an electric blanket for myself, and then we'll both be nice and cozy and not fighting over the same frickin' space heater. Okay, the optics modules are almost done. Okay, just finished. All right, let's see where it went. There's one from Darko. I don't think Darko's still here, so I'll just skip that for now. All right, let's start here. And I'll just do an optics correction. I need my tools. All right, so wow, this is interesting. I like this. I like this contrast in white balance actually. Now, in my real estate photography, this is murder, death, kill. Like, I would never deliver a picture like this to a client where the white balance is this different from one room to the next, but I like it in this image. I like this reflection. I like this little bit of motion. There's lots of interesting things here. So the question is, how do I capture all of this? Uh, let me straighten it out first. And DXO did all that for me just in a couple of clicks. That's why I like it. Question is, where do I focus on? I think what I might do is just have that door. God, there's so much here. Let me see. I like this crop right here. I like this door being off to the left. The question is, do I give it a little bit more space? Maybe a little bit more here. I like this little sign up here too. And let me fix the white balance to indoors and see how that looks. Not that it... Oh, is this a JPEG? This is a JPEG image. All right, so I'm not going to have much wiggle room with the white balance or anything else, but let me try. Yeah, no, I liked it. I liked it better before. I like this warm glow. And let me try tiny bit of vignetting. And now, I got this shadow up here. Let me crop that out. Okay. What I'm trying to do is balance the left and right side. Because I don't want one side to feel too heavy, relatively speaking. Let me see if I can so this is an interesting image right in here. I brighten that up and give it a little more color. Do the same thing here and here. Give this guy a little bit more light in there. I think he needs his own brush, so let me give him his own. Okay. And then give her the same treatment. Well, not that much. She might need her own brush. Nah, that works. Let me just pull it. Circle of influence. This needs a little more light. Okay, and then let's just pull it down on everything. So the question is, let's do that. This needs a little more light. So I'm doing the same things, right? I'm just darkening the areas that are not as important, and keeping the areas brighter that are more important. Let's do a gradient down here. Okay, and then I like this blue though. Let me grab the eyedropper. Okay, I think that's it. A little bit less, well, a little bit less fine contrast maybe. Oops, there we go. So there's the before and after, right? So if we go to full screen, so you can see basically what I did is I cropped out, oh man, I should brush this out. But anyway, I cropped out all the things. How come this is, I thought I cropped that out, dang it. I was just about to talk about how I crop everything out. I need that to be cropped out right there. All right, now we're good. So let's look at these side by side. So obviously perspective correction, which I did in one click, which is one of the greatest things ever for architectural type photographers like myself. And then these paintings were kind of dark, so I brightened these up a little bit so you could see them a little better. This might be a little hot. This one doesn't matter anymore because it's cropped out. But I like this strong blue door against all of this other warm light. It just adds a certain dynamic to it. I think that's really interesting. So that's this is my final edit. This will give me a chance to see. Yeah, this is a little bit hot, but so I would tone that down just a tiny bit with some highlights. But I think that looks really good now. And then let's see, you had one more. Same gallery. Okay, I like this again. Some good motion. So let's just do some basic opticals. Let's do a perspective and crop that in the way it needs to be. Still a bit off. I hate it when my mouse jumps like that. All right, close enough. Let's do a vertical. And I don't know if it makes sense to include this one picture here. Because it looks like he's looking over there, right? To the right at the person walking. So I'm going to keep that. And everything's lined up, but something's still a little bit crooked. I can't put my finger on it. If I back this off a little bit, no. Back that off a little bit, maybe a little. And then rotate it left. All right, close enough. So we'll do the same things, right? I really want to emphasize that this painting is looking at the person walking. I really like that. So I'm gonna make sure that people will see this. So I'm just gonna add a just a basic control point. And brighten that up. Let's go a little bit too bright, because I'm going to darken the image a little bit anyway. And oh yeah, now a little bit of contrast to bring out the eyes. So let's try micro and fine. Yeah, now they're starting to come out. Then we'll do, I'm getting a little bit creative here, but I need a very small brush here. I want to make sure that people can see these eyes. That's a little bit too much. Let's back that off a tiny bit. Okay, good. And then what to do over here? Let's just give a little bit of light on the subject here. I'll do a control point. Okay, good. And some clarity. Good. We really need, all right. And then I'll back this down a little bit more. And then we'll add some vignette. And the question is black and white. Let's see. Black and white looks good. I like the color, but the problem I'm having with the color is there's red up in here and these things. I want to try and minimize. I want to minimize this window here or this hallway and just have focus on this guy and the painting. So I think black and white does that better. Yeah, I think the black and white does that better. So what we have to do is isolate just a little bit more. So let's pull in some blacks. Okay, we're getting there. We need contrast. Okay. And a slight correction. This way. It's not perfect, but okay. I think that works. So Let's get a full screen look and then we'll look at it side by side. But I think that works right there. And then actually can do, I think the same kind of framing would look good. One of these. And we'll export that. And I think we can do a side by side. Whoops, this one and this one, right? So there's a before and after. I think that looks really good. I might over sharpened it though. Let's look at this one by itself. No, that looks okay. I love it. It's a hair bit over sharpened or a little bit too much contrast. So if I were to edit this some more, I'd back that off a little bit. But other than that, I think this is a really what was otherwise I thought might be a rather mundane picture. I think this now is very interesting because of this painting over here. So there's the side by side. So yeah, this image on the left, like I said, is very, very plain, but I really like what happened over here, the end result. That looks really good. All right, so Darko looks like he's gone, so I'm not gonna edit. I'm getting a little tired too. So thanks everyone for joining me today. I hope you liked the edits I did, and I'll try and do some more edits using Photolab, but I also want to start using the Nick collection, which I also have. I've been experimenting with that and been getting some really interesting results with that as well. And of course, I have my affiliate link down below for Photolab 6. You should download and try it. Hopefully you can see why I like this particular software so much is because I can, of course there's a learning curve, but once you kind of learn all the little tricks and things you can do with it, you can really edit the images and get the kind of results that you want. And thanks everyone for editing my image. It's always fun to see what you guys do with mine. So I will do these again. Just leave a comment down below if you want me to keep doing these, or but I think the general consensus is people like me doing these for some reason, but I'm happy to do them. I have fun too. It's good practice. So thanks again for joining me today, and we'll see you again. I'll be back for a regular stream on Sunday.